Hello, and welcome to Spirit Touched Lessons in the Sanctuary. Turn to Psalm 5, 4 through 6. This tells us God doesn't like evil. He can't dwell in evil or with wicked people. The arrogant can't stand in his presence. He hates all who do wrong. He will destroy those who make a practice of lying because it's a form of deceit. Now check out Psalms 64, 2 through 5a. Conspiracy of the wicked is something we need to hide from. People who conspire are a noisy crowd of evil doers who sharpen their tongues like swords and aim words like arrows at innocent people, and they have no fear about doing it. This crowd likes to plot evil, and they encourage each other in carrying out those plots. They like to lay traps for people. They plot injustice, thinking their plans are perfect. These things show that both their hearts and minds are full of evil. Matthew 23, 13 and 14. God hates hypocrites. This tells us why. In this case, they are teachers of the law. Their teaching shuts the door of heaven in people's faces. They know they can't enter, so they don't want anyone else to enter heaven either. Proverbs 8:13. One way to fear the Lord is to hate evil. Arrogance is evil in his eyes. It's a form of perverse speech and pride. Jeremiah 48:29 and 30 is a good example. These are futile attitudes. They don't get us anywhere but in trouble with God, and you don't want to be there. 2 Timothy 3, 1 through 5. Boasting is a form of arrogance, also known as bragging. God really hates it when we build ourselves up while we are tearing someone else down. So don't let yourself do that. Psalms 94, 1 and Deuteronomy 32, 40 and 41. Revenge. It is not a good dish because it leads to a bad taste in your mouth and you can choke on it. So let God take revenge for you. Romans 12:19. Now look at Proverbs 10:18. Lying. God never lies to us or BS's us. Satan does that because he is full of both. He puts just enough truth into what he says to try and trip us up, just like he did with Eve. See Genesis 3, 1 through 5. It's the first of many lies in the Bible, and Satan is the first of many liars. That first lie led to the first sin. So just tell the truth and save yourself a bunch of trouble. The spotlight of God is so bright, it allows him to see into the depths of our souls where we try to hide our ugliest sins, and those sins do not want to be in the spotlight because they know that beacon will expose them for what they are. God's beacon brings both good and bad things to light. The good for him to bring out, the bad for him to curse. He curses what he hates. Since he hates sin, all those who refuse to repent and be accepted into his family will be punished will be banished from his sight in the end. For that reason, Satan hates the spotlight. There will be no place in heaven for them, since sin is ugly to God. There will be no ugliness at all in heaven. It is offensive to his sight. See Deuteronomy 6:18, chapter 9, verse 18 and 19, and Judges 3:7. This is why his light outshines the darkness. John 1:5. That's why spiders weave their webs at night. That's where we get the old saying, "What a tangled weave we weave when first we practice to deceive," and why God hates deception. Be very careful what you weave, because what you weave comes from your heart. People can look at your heart and get a good idea of who and what you are. What you are inside comes out through your artwork. Take yourselves for example, since you are God's handiwork and he considers you to be a masterpiece. That's why I love that song, Masterpiece, so much. At one of the Methodist churches where I used to go, every time a baby was baptized, that song was sung by the choir before the baptism. The first time I heard it done, it was so beautiful. I cried tears of wonder because it was like God was singing over those babies. So Google it and have a listen, knowing that you are his masterpiece. And he was singing over those babies. God often sings them over you. This is why God cannot and never will hate you. So when you get into a depression mode and wondering, does God hate me? The answer is a resounding, emphatic no. So do know that so throw that stinking thinking right out the window and consider yourself a masterpiece of God. So you are, because you are so beautiful in his eyes. You may send your prayer request to heanswers@gmail.com.